guys ready to rock and roll? Yeah, ready? Okay, it being the appointed time on the appointed day, I'm calling this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Have a roll call of officers, please.
Commissioner Uranga,
Here.
Commissioner Lear,
Here.
Commissioner Garcia, Commissioner Fisher,
Here.
Commissioner Acosta,
Present.
Vice Chair Zerniak,
Here.
and Chair Bill Zargis.
Present. Approval or changes to the agenda?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Lear. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Agenda's approved. Approval of the minutes
I
for
move for
August
approval
28th,
of-
2025.
I second.
Moved by Commissioner Lear, second by Commissioner. Okay, we're going to have one of those mornings. Sorry, people. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Old business? No business? Thank you. New business, case Z like zebra 25-015.
Where our planners?
As long as we're waiting to put this together, I'd ask everyone, if you got cell phones, tablets, anything, please silence them. If you wish to speak on either the case or the amendments to the UDC, please sign in with the clerk so that we know how many people we have to speak and we can, allocate our time.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Charlene Santisteban, 845 North Motel Boulevard.
Do you affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're here for a zoning case, Z25015. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
The owner applicant, Jacob Siniceros is the owner. Fabian Vigil is the agent. The location is northeast corner of North Jornada and Saddle Mountain Roads. And it's right before you get to the schools that are there on Jornada. Oh, excuse me. The zoning is D2, medium density residential. The zone change is in a 5-acre parcel. The zone D2, and they want to go to C2 for a veterinary clinic. Location map. Aerial photo. And this is the zoning map. It's all the yellow is D2, and this gray here is the city limits. So it's surrounded by city limits. The description of the property, the subject property is a 5-acre parcel lot. The subject property was originally zoned ER4M, residential district in the ETZ. We adopted the UDC in 2017, and the surrounding area is single-family residential in close proximity to the city, Las Cruces city limits, which is densely populated with small residential lots, and the property is vacant. And of course, the applicant and the agent. This is the aerial land use aerial notification map. And this is the proposed site plan. Subject property, it's vacant. And that is Saddle Mountain Road right there. And it's a dirt unpaved road. And this is Jornada. And these are the signs. It's the surrounding property, it's single-family residential. Let's see, 27 letters of notification were mailed to the property with the owners within 300 feet, and they were mailed on September 2nd. Legal ads were placed in the Las Cruces Sun-News on August 29th, and signs were posted in a timely manner. No homes are being proposed, population none. There will be no impact to the demographics. Traffic generation for a veterinary clinic is 17.5 trips per day per 1,000 square foot of gross floor area, according to TTI. North Jornada Road is classified as a major collector, 80-foot right-of-way by the Mesilla Valley MPO, and Saddle Mountain Road is a private road, 50-foot right-of-way. The zone change will allow the applicant to add additional commercial facilities and provide veterinary services on the northeast side of Las Cruces. Currently, veterinary services are located in central and west Las Cruces. Water and sewer are available through the city of Las Cruces. Wastewater is available through the city, and North Jornada Road is a paved county maintained road. There's no evidence of endangered or rare species. The property has direct access to North Jornada Road and Saddle Mountain Road. A driveway permit for access from North Jornada Road will be required. And surrounding parcels along North Jornada Road are Zone D2. Applicant will implement all best practices throughout the construction and operation. These include low-impact development techniques such as permeable paving, harvesting water, rainwater, and drought-tolerant landscaping. The clinic will employ proper handling and disposal of biomedical waste, recycling of materials, and noise mitigation measures. BMP for stormwater will reduce runoff and prevent soil erosion in the area. The comprehensive plan, there's only one. It's goal G 2.2, ensure regulations support the plan requirements. And the reason we went with that is because we're going to deny this case. We're recommending denial, not deny, we're recommending denial. So this is the Miller criteria. The zone change will not cover or perfect a previous defective ordinance or correct a mistake. The applicant states existing clinics are clustered in central and western parts of Las Cruces. This proposed clinic fills this geographic service gap by locating in a rural area. The clinic complements rather than competing with existing herbal veterinary practices. This is from the applicant. The requested zone change will not be more advantageous to the community by allowing additional commercial space and is in conflict with the comprehensive plan. And it's mainly because it's mainly residential in nature. There's no development cost for the county. It's on the property owner. And Jornada's a major collector. Strip zoning is not proposed or considered for this development. Staff analysis, decisional criteria. A C2 zone will be in disharmony with the surrounding area. The area is primarily D2. And rezones to C2 may introduce commercial uses that are not compatible in the area. The zone change is a spot zone. The proposed zone change is not in harmony with existing residential uses. The staff finding, the property is outside of any incorporated municipal zoning authority. The request of this application is consistent with the requirements of the UDC. The zone change request for C2 does not satisfy 350-203 decisional criteria. The zone change to a C2 zoning district is considered spot zoning. The zone change to C2 district is considered spot zone as the surrounding area is zoned residential. And the comprehensive plan is goal G 2.2. Staff recommendations is a denial for Z 25015.
Thank you, Charlene. Questions of staff? Okay, thank you. Can we hear from the applicant, please? Good morning.
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Jacob Ceniceros, 845 South Motel.
Do you affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good
Hi,
morning.
good morning. I have a written statement that I'd like to start off with in response to Charlene and their findings, if that's okay.
Okay.
Dear County Commissioners in the community of Jornada, I would like to take the time to discuss my intentions with the rezoning of 5021 Saddle Mountain Road. For those of you who did not receive my letter, the goal behind the rezoning of 5021 Saddle Mountain Road to a C2 zoning is so that one day it will be the home of a veterinary hospital that I plan on naming Alta Vista Animal Hospital. I purchased the property with much thought and discussion. I am from Las Cruces. I grew up in the North Valley and attended Mayfield High School, where I was part of their 2005, 2006, and 2007 football state championship teams. Having been a veterinarian for 8 years in our community, I recognize that as the city continues to grow, there is a glaring need for more veterinary facilities and more veterinarians. There are currently 7 veterinary facilities in the Las Cruces area, and only 1 facility resides in the county, Zia Animal Hospital. Each veterinary facility tends to serve their surrounding geographical location. Callista Animal Hospital to the south, Schumacher to the west, Zia to the north, and the furthest east is Jornada Veterinary Clinic. The remaining facilities reside more centrally in the city. The majority of the city's growth is occurring on the East Mesa. There are current plans to continue residential development on the north end of Jornada Road. Growth is inevitable, but with growth comes smart planning and preparation. Our veterinary facilities are at their limits, with some owners stating we can't expand our footprint, citing limited space. Veterinary facilities are unfortunately having to decline client-patient visits due to high volume. Many clients without an established veterinarian are often referred to El Paso. With no true emergency care to the public and/or after-hour care, El Paso becomes the next best option. El Paso is a 45-minute commute in which many situations can be too far for people to travel or too long of a drive that negatively impact prognosis and survival rates. The location of 5021 Saddle Mountain Road is strategically chosen to accommodate the growth the East Mesa is observing. It is located off of one of the less busy roads, Jornada. It also happens to be in a location that is relatively easy to access via Angler and the frontage road. It is a 5-acre parcel that allows for expansion as needed for the facility, but can also accommodate the parking for clientele and staff. Larger parking lots and more parking spaces means easier access on and off the main road, Jornada. I have some pictures with me that I've taken of different facilities, and the things that I would like to point out is that they sit on smaller lots. The smaller lots lead to congested parking and employees parking on the side of the street. Both of these lead to congested areas and potentially dangerous events. Some of the debates cite that a veterinary hospital is not in harmony with the surrounding area, and I'm here to say that that can be false and misleading. A veterinary hospital can be made to look a variety of different ways. I have other pictures included of different styles of facilities to highlight that they can be made to blend with the surrounding area. I would also be open to the suggestions of the surrounding neighbors so that a facility can be made to appeal to the community. Veterinary facilities should support their community and vice versa. We can work together to design a safe, clean, and attractive facility to meet the needs of the community. 5021 Saddle Mountain Road falls into a location that has access to Las Cruces water and sewage. A facility would not require using Moongate water or building a septic tank. Although one could not prove this, one could make an argument that a readily available and accessible veterinary facility that provides medical care could make property acquisition more desirable. I have written letters from faculty at different facilities. In their statement, they note how veterinary industry here in Las Cruces can be overwhelmed with clientele and the need for another facility is vital. From these letters and with the knowing that there will be further residential expansion, I'm here to debate that this rezoning is advantageous to the community by providing them with more readily accessible veterinary care. A veterinary facility under my ownership can provide this through on-call emergency services, after-hour services, less travel time, and the ability to accommodate new clientele. There is also sufficient enough change in the number of surrounding residents, in the surrounding area that it is experiencing to allow for the development of a veterinary facility. It is more important now than ever that we plan ahead for what the area is about to experience rather than react after the matter. Although considered a spot zoning, I would like to point out that you, county commissioners, are still in charge of the rezoning decisions. A veterinary facility is not your typical commercial building, and does not necessarily invite commercial development. If the argument in question is more about the C2 rezoning and controlling commercial use, I ask, would you be willing to accept a D1 rezoning with a special use permit? The ultimate goal is to build a veterinary facility and to provide above and beyond veterinary care to the community of Las Cruces and Doña. Thank you.
I'll have a couple, but for right now, no. I'll pass. I'd like to bring you back after a while. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll open it up.
We have 6 in opposition. First is D. Yamini. Good morning.
Sir, if you want to get involved, please give your name to the clerk. Go ahead.
Please raise your right hand. State your name and address for the record.
It's D. Rudat Yamini. My address is 6870 Hornado Road.
Do you affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Excuse me, thank you.
Morning. I am very compassionate to what the doctor wants, and I do know there's a need for more veterinary services. I did speak with him, and he said he was willing to put in low light pollution lighting and work with the community, which I so am grateful. But when I went through I did a petition for and against when I went to my neighbors, and everyone was against. They wanted to stay a community of homes, and it's worrisome to everyone. We already know that there's a huge apartment complex just down the road, and we don't even know how much traffic our little 2-lane road is going to have. And so everyone is super concerned about traffic and lighting, things like that. But and keeping it a community of a family community area, which we have now. So we are worried. The majority of people are worried of more businesses coming in once you open up the C2 and get commercial in there. And that is the biggest concern for folks, is that. And there were, as you saw, you already have in your notes, there's already almost 60 people that signed a petition against it. And with just deep compassion for the need for more veterinary clinics, for sure, we would just pray he can find a place in a better location where it's commercial and not in residential. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Juan, is it Jeto? Good morning.
Morning.
Please raise your right hand and state your name and address for the record.
4759 Diamante Court, Juan Trato.
And do you affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
My name is Juan Trato. I printed out some papers of why I believe.
Excuse me, Juan, can you raise that microphone a little bit? Thank you.
I brought some papers here to hand out to you guys to show all the ordinances that why this should be denied. I don't know if I can approach or if someone can come and give it to you. As you can see, this is a rezoning evaluation matrix with the standard and goals, and I can go through each one, and if you have any questions, I am willing to answer them. So 35203.C3 and D.1, planning consistency, does not meet the criteria. 350-203-D2, suitability does not meet that criteria. 350-203.D4, property values, does not meet that criteria. 350-203.D.5, health, safety, and welfare, does not meet that criteria. 350-203.D.6 does not meet that criteria. 350-203.D.7, environmental impacts, does not meet that criteria. 50-203-D9 and D10, transportation, does not meet that criteria. 350-203-D.11 does not meet that criteria. And then going from Plan 2040, going from G2.2, A4.1, A2.2, G6.7, G6.10. And not only that, but we already have a precedent case a year ago. This was on Benavides Road, Z24004. It was a request from D2 going to a D3, and some of the commissioners standing here in front of me have denied this request due to the fact that it is a spot zoning and not in harmony with the neighborhood. Moving on to the next points. As I said before, relevant precedents, Z24004. On April 25th, 2024, the commission denied a similar rezoning at Benavides Road, which is less than a half a mile away from here. Some of you found it as not appropriate for the area. It does not build 37,000 homes, which is within the Plan 2040, constituted spot zoning, and it's not in harmony with the surrounding neighborhood, and did not meet the zoning ordinance criteria. This case, Z25015, is larger, 5 acres, which is 5 times more than an acre of this last one, and shifts to much more intense commercial zoning. If a small duplex rezoning is too disruptive, this is much more. Moving on to the next point, comprehensive plan and spot zoning. Plan 2040 calls for protecting neighborhood character, preserving residential stability, and concentrating commercial into designated nodes. This approval, if this approval happens, is the opposite. It is spot zoning, a single parcel which is surrounded by D2, I might add, rezoned for private gain. If designated as C2 or C1 or mixed use or even D1 with a special permit, this property could host gas stations, strip centers, kennels, and not just a vet clinic. And there is another 5-acre property adjacent to this property, which I might add, there are people waiting for this to be passed through and hoping to turn this to commercial. Spot rezonings undermine the plan's guiding principles, which is grow smart and grow together. Moving on to the next point, traffic and safety. You may have received the New Mexico Department of Transportation crash reports. There is data in one of my emails that I sent out, and this is directly from New Mexico Department of Transportation, and I only ranged it from 22 to 24, and I can show proof that they do not have the rest of 24 or 25, but there is a 100% increase in traffic crashes and injuries, at least with the analysis that was done there. And that doesn't include the fact that 2024 does not have all the data and 2025. So this 100% increase is probably more to 150%. Jornada already struggles with school traffic, speeding, and congestion. Saddle Mountain is a private dirt road, and it's not designated for commercial access. Not only that, but this is a private road, which I already spoke with one of the other road property development who owns this road, and they are not for developing this by themselves, which means that it would only fall on the applicant. Moving on to the next point. There is no demonstrator needed. Jornada Veterinary Clinic is 7 minutes away, drive time. Animal Services of Mesilla, which is 5 minutes away, and it does provide basic care for what Jornada Veterinary Clinic does. Not all, but Jornada Clinic covers all of that. Applicant has shown no evidence of unmet demand, wait times, or capacity issues. This rezoning is not about filling a gap. It's about carving commercial into a residential area. Next point, neighborhood impacts. This area is zoned D2 for stability following Plan 2040. Commercial use disrupts that balance, lowers property values, and deters families from investing nearby, assuming that construction can take from 2 to 3 years. If this clinic fails, the community is left with a vacant commercial site, which is not in favor of the neighborhood. Next point, infrastructure and costs. The road will need to be paved, as I mentioned before. Applicant proposes that if septic is appropriate, that's not sound commercial planning. Road improvements are unfunded, long-term burdens fall on taxpayers. And also, the county staff have already found that this rezoning is inconsistent with the infrastructure adequacy with standards. Next point, best management practices do not justify rezoning. I've worked in construction, my family's worked in construction for a really long time. And the applicant highlights that stormwater controls and waste handling is a thing, but there are legal requirements for any sort of business. So this is not a special benefit. This is just standard practice. They do not fix the fundamental problem, which I believe the zoning is wrong. So, commissioners, this request is not about animal care. It is about land use. Veterinary services are already available nearby. I believe the real issue is whether the county will allow spot zoning that breaks a comprehensive plan and increase the traffic risks on an already dangerous road, which we've already had a few folks that have gone to the hospital, ranging from a child getting hit on a bike to an adult being on a motorcycle. This undermines the stability of the residential neighborhood, and approving this rezoning would set a dangerous precedent for future commercial properties. It will undermine public trust and directly conflict with adopted land use plans and policies. As I mentioned before, Plan 2040 says grow smart and grow together. Spot rezoning say grow randomly, grow recklessly. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the commission to staff to deny the rezoning request and maintain the property's D2 residential zoning. Thank you for consideration.
Thank you. Questions?
Mr. Chair, did you compile all this data on the traffic impact analysis?
So they did their own analysis, and afterwards I did my own analysis just to make it easier.
Well, I compliment you on the effort that you took to let us know about all this on that, on the crash sites and all of this. Quite extensive. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Next, Gilbert Barella. Good morning. Please raise your right hand and state your name and address for the record.
Gilbert Barola, 4747 Diamante Court.
And do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. I don't have any list or anything, but number one, we never received a letter. We live blocks away from where this is going to be, where this veterinary clinic wants to go. Jornada Road is a 2-lane road. There's plenty of space on Baton, you know, where it can go right next to Family Dollar, Chavitas. There's all this land that they could use on Baton Memorial, on Main Street, you know, anywhere, but there. So I don't know. I think that's it.
Thank you.
Jorge Alvarez. Good morning.
Jorge Alvarez, 4747 Diamante Court.
And do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello. I should lower this a little. Yeah, I live on Diamante Court, which is literally around the corner from where this business is proposing to go in. I can tell you from living in that area that it's zoned for residential for a reason. because it is a residential neighborhood. We live right off Jornada. Jornada is a country road, 2-lane. They opened 2 schools down the street, an elementary and a middle school, which have increased the traffic already tremendously on Jornada. When we're trying to leave our neighborhood, if you're leaving between school kids arriving or school kids leaving, it takes a while to even get onto the road to be able to go down Jornada. Down the road, they're also building a large apartment complex, which we have no idea what kind of an impact that's going to have traffic-wise. You know, as already it's over, to me, the road is not sufficient enough to handle the traffic that is going to be coming. Also, I mean, as a residential area, I think it's smart to plan so that, excuse me, to plan so that it continues to be a residential area and that it incorporates more residents. As I can see, a business there is like in the middle of nowhere. It is not really inaccessible to any major thoroughfare. Baton Road is quite a ways down, so it does not have any flow of traffic going through there that would complement a business. So I highly recommend to not have this happen. It is our neighborhood. We're happy the way the neighborhood is residential. And to have a mixture of residential and commercial, to me, is very unappealing. And it also creates an environment that is not very residential friendly. It is the area that the business wants to go into. It's rural. You know, it's very rural areas. You can see there's dirt roads. There's houses that have been there for, I don't know, 50, 60 or more years that have lived in that area that was unpopulated for the longest time. We live in a new tract, but we're literally around the corner from this site. And I can tell you we enjoy the way it is right now. And we see a business going in there as being not only an eyesore, but it's also going against the community the way it is at this moment. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob Ceniceros? Okay, sorry. Edward Schroeder?
Hi, Edward Schroeder, 3656 Maya Court.
And do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law? Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
I live in the neighborhood around that area. Recently, after the most recent rains, the flood abatement in that region has been rather unpositive. Several of the roads have had standing water on them, causing potential for hydroplaning in that region. A recent gas station that was put into that region had also done a large retaining pond as part of their environmental impact to ensure that they could maintain their area and not have any sort of flood as they're serving the community. It doesn't appear that any sort of environmental impact has been put here for any sort of retaining pond, and paving over the area where more water couldn't be absorbed would increase that facility and cause more traffic accidents, especially already on this maintained road. That would increase cost of facility and cost of keeping up the area as it runs on off the building onto the road. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
David Hernandez? Oh, sorry, Daniel.
Morning.
Morning. Please raise your right hand and state your name and address for the record.
Daniel Hernandez, 5257 Mountain Road.
And do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Morning, y'all.
Morning.
How can I begin? Lifetime resident of 5257 Mountain Road. Born and raised on that road. As my neighbors have stated, this clinic does not benefit us at all. As a longtime resident, it impacts us because, first of all, this increases the the commercial use just opens up the door to more commercial. Whether it's a small clinic, whether it's a big clinic, hospital, there is no need for another clinic there. Like my neighbor stated, 5-7 minutes, there's animal services there, which I may add, if anything, maybe a mobile veterinarian for all those animals for people that do have animals out in the country, horses, larger animals. Maybe therefore, yes, there is a downfall for that. But for cats, dogs, and whatever other pets that there is no need. 5-7 minutes away, there's one. I've had instances where I've had to take my dogs. Jornada veterinarian is right there. There used to be a animal hospital just down the road, almost by Del Rey. It's actually named Animal Hospital, so there is already an animal hospital. Other than that, there's also a gas station that's already been put up there, and there's already homeless problems there. So just increasing this problem, also bringing in another commercial, and then there's a low-income housing development happening by the schools. So it's like a little triangle. If there's already homeless problem down in the city, homeless thrives over commercial, wherever you put it. It just opens up the problem. And as lifelong resident from there and plan to, it's just gonna open up for more problems of even house theft, there's vandalism, or anything. When commercial goes in, there's also bigger risk, which is also includes theft, homeless problems and everything, especially with low-income housing and commercial. When you put those together, it increases those problems. So putting in a veterinary hospital or clinic there, which again, it opens up the door to commercial, is gonna open up the doors to more commercial, whether it be some other doctor clinics there or whatever, because 5 acres for one little clinic is a lot. So I don't think he's just gonna put one little clinic and say, you know what, the rest is open. No, I think he's gonna put more of a plaza, that way he can rent out the other places, have his place right there, and therefore it opens up more commercial use. And once they open that one, it's basically opening the door to commercial use down the road. And then also, like a lot of people have stated, the traffic congestion is horrible. And God forbid there's somebody rushing their little chihuahua to his hospital, undermines that the kids are crossing or whatever, because the bus stop for Saddle Mountain is literally right there on his plot. That's where the kids stand to get the bus. So if somebody's coming in a hurry to get their little dog fixed or get seen in an emergency, and then little Johnny runs across, hits him, what's gonna stop that? What's more important, a dog's life or a human's life, just because they wanted to rush their dog to the clinic as an emergency? So there's a lot of contributing factors that you have to be seen into this, because it is a residential area. It's not a commercial, and just to put one little commercial there, it's impossible to think it's just gonna be one little clinic forever. No, it's just opening up the door for more commercial down the road. And it's because right adjacent, there's another 10-acre lot. What makes them think, or what makes us think that 10-acre lot, they're not gonna be like, oh, you know what? Let's build a gas station here now. There's already commercial right there. Might as well just make it easier. Make another commercial right there. It's a 10-acre lot. They can make a plaza there, and it just runs into more, how can I say, more problems for us that have been there for our whole lives. With that, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's it. No.
Okay. Commission? First, response from the applicant?
I think there's a lot of responses that I would have for the neighborhood and the surrounding areas. First off, Mesilla Valley Animal Services is right down the road. They are correct about that. However, they are a shelter facility. Their main goals are to spay, neuter animals, get them adopted. Do they provide some of the basic care for animals? Yes, for the animals that they adopt out. But beyond that, they are overwhelmed as well. And they are also looking for a veterinarian to fill their spot at this point in time. So you can imagine that they are tapped out as far as resources go. Jornada Vet Clinic is a little bit further down the road off of Baton. And I do not have a written statement from the manager there, as she was supposed to write me one, but they are turning away 10 to 20 clients per day because they are overwhelmed. I will also have you note, and this is not to undermine their facilities at all, Jornada Vet Clinic and Animal Hospital of Las Cruces are both owned by corporation, and they do tend to drive up the prices for their clientele. So having a private facility out there where there is a little bit of more low income, or if people are do not have the financial resources to treat their animals, a private clinic is more willing and able to accommodate them in those regards. My goal is just to provide animal services and veterinary services for the community out there. There have been notes, as people have mentioned already, that there is plans to develop 37,000 more homes out in that direction, which, yes, is going to drive up the amount of traffic that Jornada sees. But again, with that, with our veterinary facilities already being at their top, at their max, at their limits, I think that further supports that they do need a veterinary facility in that area to help support them.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you a couple of questions, but on the map that we have, the aerial map, don't you agree that that area is more residential?
Yes, sir, I would agree that it is more residential.
And so, as good neighbors, they stated their opinion, but for us, we have to base our opinion on a yes or a no vote regarding a technical issue that we have to abide by, okay? So, as long as you understand that our decision is going to be made on a technical issue, we will respond, okay? Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I know we're ready for a motion. I'm not going to make the motion, but, you know, we have to base it on like possibly maybe the Miller criteria. Okay, in case it goes for, in front of the BOCC.
Commissioner Fisher?
I just wanted Mr. Cisneros to comment on how much of this land are you going to use for the clinic? I mean, that's 5 acres.
Yes, ma'am, it was sold as 5 acres. I liked the location of it, which is why I jumped in on the 5 acres. Only maybe 2 acres are going to be used for the veterinary facility in itself. Calista Animal Hospital right now is probably the biggest clinic in town. Her facility sits on about a 1 acre parcel, and because of that, they do accommodate the parking for their clientele, even though sometimes it does run over into the adjacent dirt parking lot, which they do not own. But a lot of the employees, if not the majority of the employees, park on the side of the road. And so my goal with the 5 acres is to provide enough parking space for not only employees and staff, but also for clientele. And I think that does a really good job of taking a lot of the traffic off the street and to make it safer for everybody around.
So the other 3 acres would be used for other commercial?
The other 3 acres you could use to expand for other veterinary needs. Let's say equine services, which is not part of my plan just yet, but you could expand into an equine hospital so that way you could allow people that have large animals to bring in their animals as well.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ask for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to move approval of Z 25015.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Zerniak, second by Commissioner Lear to approve the zone change on Z 25-015. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Uranga,
No, the reason is, I'm going with staff's recommendation. It would be considered spot zoning since there is no commercial use around the area.
Commissioner Lear,
I also vote no. As stated in one of the precedent cases, it was deemed to be spot zoning and not in harmony with the neighborhood. I think what we heard today was there's probably a need for veterinary services in that area, but this doesn't appear to be the right spot to put that.
Commissioner Fisher,
I say no. No, because it is a residential area, and again, it's not in harmony with what else is going on in that area.
Commissioner Acosta,
Can't hear. My take on this is a no vote. Basing it on the Miller criteria, it appears to be a spot zone. And, the change of conditions making the zone change reasonably, it's not in the public interest.
Vice Chair Zerniak,
No. My reasons are conflict with the comprehensive plan. It doesn't appear that the zone change would be advantageous to the neighborhood. It is a spot zone, there's no question about that. And as Commissioner Lear said, there's no doubt that there's a need for this, but not in this location.
Chair Zerniak, Zarges.
I'm also going to vote no. I consider it to be a spot zone. I agree with staff there. I find the commercial request to be much. It would seem that perhaps while we could use a veterinary clinic there are other things that might be acceptable to both the owner and the commercial area to come up with another mixed-use type of thing as opposed to pure commercial, which of course leads to all kinds of other problems, in my opinion. Thank you. So I would say that this motion failed.
A vote of 6-0.
Next up, I'm sorry, proposed amendment to the UDC.
And just so the applicant knows, he does have a right to appeal the decision. Okay, good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. So we're bringing amendment number 7 before you today. It's a working copy. We've just identified a few areas that need clarification, need a little more attention, since the Unified Development Code is a living document. So regarding temporary use permits, we're adding a statement there that in addition to revivals, circuses, carnivals, or festivals, you can also apply for a temporary use permit for a travel trailer or recreational vehicles to be used as a living quarter. Temporary use permits are designed for temporary uses, and that use is 30 days or less. And currently, we do allow someone to temporarily live in an RV for 7 days. So if they wanted to live longer in a mobile home, families visiting from out of town, what have you, they can apply for the temporary use permit. So in addition to the 30 days, they can always ask for a 2-week extension.
What's the advantage to us for that? I mean, what did you hope to accomplish with that?
Well, to allow visiting family to stay longer than 7 days in their RV when they're passing through town, or what have you, because you can only have an RV in an RV park, and we really don't have that many RV parks in the county at this point. So we're just offering another alternative for people to live temporarily in a mobile RV. It's not a mobile home, just an RV.
Can only, which section tells you it can only be in an RV park? You can't store your RV at your home? Is that
Oh,
what
yes,
you're saying?
storage is different. This is for living quarters, to live in an RV temporarily. So we're adding the phrase, including using travel trailers and recreational vehicles as living quarters on a temporary basis.
So Janine, if I want to put an RV in my driveway, right? Do I have to provide everything that's in B?
If it's going to be used for living quarters, longer than 7 days,
So I have to tell you where the portable restrooms are and trash receptacles?
if applicable. So,
But the current does not read, by adding used as living quarters, then it does. But currently, it does not have travel trailers, recreational vehicles used as living quarters. It just says vehicles shall be located in approved vehicle parks. So, I mean, I guess we're getting very,
I think you're in the next section, correct?
it's number 6.
Yeah. In the number 6, we did add a phrase, used as living spaces as well. Living quarters or spaces.
I just know that special use permits for us as a business, to get a special use permit, we do it all the time, and at $25 plus, whatever. But to ask a resident to be pulling out a special use permit because their family came in from out of town, I think we're getting a little bit too far out there. And how are we going to enforce it? We don't have the people to enforce this kind of thing. So I think it's like we've just gone too far on it.
Well, we're just offering an alternative, because right now,
Yeah,
you can only live in an RV for 7 days or less.
I don't think that the temporary permit is a solution. Maybe something else would work. If you feel that it's too restrictive on number 6, on where they can park their RVs, then we need to look at some way to work around that and not,
And we're
not
open
make
to
them.
suggestions, absolutely, yes.
And I realize this is a working document. I know that.
Yeah.
You also have a section in here, may I go?
Okay, so we'll move on to the next section, 6.
Yeah, you talked about the requirements for a recreational, for a park, I guess, or for the. you
That's
define-
in A, in the middle of that page.
Yeah. Right, recreation campgrounds shall be at least, is that 500 square feet minimum? If you're
1,500
reducing
square
the
feet.
size?
1,500 square feet, lot size.
Oh, okay, there it is, okay, 1,500 square feet minimum.
So that would be like by a 25 by 60 space.
Having utility, you're requiring hookups. This is permitted or zoned differently, is it not? Recreational campgrounds are zoned, have their own zoning, or they're under, what zoning are they under?
Yes. I believe they're allowed in the T2. You have the matrix?
They're allowed in C2s, they're allowed, so I guess my question is, What about a campsite? What, you know, we don't have anything to address campsites. Again, I go back to, if you look at many businesses, they offer the Harvest Host, and we're talking all the wineries and the breweries. And so these are things we need to consider, the businesses that are currently working with that group, okay?
Yeah, but to address that question, Chair, and Albert Casillas for the record, I think through our last amendment, we did add a category for campsites, and it's a separate category than RV parks.
Another category
So in the land use matrix, you will have a category for campsites.
for campsites, okay? And that would be something that I would say would have to be less than 2 weeks, maybe even a week, but I don't see anything in here about campsites, so I was a little bit, how do we work around it?
Well, this section, in the last amendment, we actually added a campground slash recreational vehicle park. And so we are allowing campgrounds in the T2 by special use permit R5, R5L, special use permit in the MU zone, and then it's permitted in the C1, C2, C3.
But you're defining how a recreational campground, is that also, does that mean that the campground will also have to be that same as the recreational vehicle park? You've defined what you want for the recreational. So I mean,
Yes, campgrounds are also defined in the previous section. I believe it's I1 in the code currently. And that was the last amendment we brought forward, if you all recall, that Charlene actually did all the research on and presented to the commission.
It seems to me that you almost need two sections here, one for commercial activity and one for temporary housing. Because,
Well, these are in separate sections.
no, I'm saying that to require someone who wants to park their RV in a driveway, to have them have to fulfill these requirements, it makes no sense. And it's over-regulation for somebody like that. The other thing that bothers me about is and we do this sometimes, you kick the door open to regulation by saying any additional information deemed necessary by the zoning administrator. That's in C4. And in D4, you say any other mitigation deemed necessary to protect the public interest. That means we can ask them for anything and make them do anything we want. That doesn't make any sense. And I would think even for a commercial activity, I would challenge that. It seems arbitrary. Because if I think up something, right, and I apply it to one guy and the next guy don't mention it, it's arbitrary. So I don't think that's it's not a good idea to put those in. If you don't know what you want from people, then that's not a regulation you want to write up. It seems to me that you've covered all the bases or you haven't.
Yeah, those things work okay in the commercial area because we know if we're bringing in a festival, we know how it's gonna impact and that we have to comply with these items. But a homeowner, different, totally different.
And Chair and Commissioners, I mean, and just to clarify, I mean, this is, every day we're faced with, scenarios where, codes enforcement ends up finding, a homeowner who has 3 or 4 RVs parked in the back, and, we know they're renting them out. We know that he's using them for commercial purposes, and we just don't have any teeth to go out there and go after them. We understand that, I mean, this is not designated for people that are just storing their RVs or their boats on the property. I mean, that's just something that's allowed by right. This is just for, some of those weird cases that we get, throughout the week of people that just try to circumvent the code or try to find a loophole around it.
Albert, I'm not arguing against the regulation. I'm just saying, it seems like you should have a separate section for temporary housing. Right? If it's over a week, like Teresa said, at the wineries, people come in and stay overnight, and there's no regulation for that. If they're gonna stay there for a week, I can see asking them for some information. But that should be separate from a commercial activity, like a festival or a maze that's been set up temporarily. I mean, the wineries set up mazes too. So do they have, because that's separate from the winery itself, do they have to have a temporary permit for that? Mhm. According to this, currently, a harvest hoster coming in and staying would require a permit. And so you'd be in here getting a private permit all the time? Okay. For every harvest hoster that comes in? Yeah, I think you need a separate section. No. So there's several things in here that I question, and I'm all for making your life easier, and I'm all for making it so that the staff has what they need to process documents and move people along in their permitting process and not have to come before the P&Z. And those are the things I was hoping to see in the changes to the UDC code to simplify the process, to clarify, not to add more regulations that we can't enforce. And so if you tell me what your purpose is in making these changes, I will gladly listen. But not just more enforcement, more.
Okay.
I think we can probably rework the section and maybe
I'd like to have something.
include some, additional language under 350-502I, recreational vehicle parks, and then just try to come up with a category that would address, the temporary use.
You're under the I section, IA, or what? Where are you?
At the campground and recreational vehicle.
I, okay.
So we might have, we can probably work something out under that section.
For temporary housing. Okay.
Why are you reducing the recreational, you have a recreational, it was originally recreational campground shall be at least, they didn't have a minimum size, I guess, is that correct? Now we're adding a minimum size?
What it currently is 1,650 square feet.
Okay.
For
We're
lot size, and
dropping
we're
it?
reducing it.
Any reason for that?
Charlene, well, originally what we had in the UDC was 1,500 square feet. When we did the amendment, we increased it to 1,650 square feet. And we're finding out that that may be a bit too large, that people can have their pullouts and whatnot comfortably on a 1,500 square foot RV site.
Okay, so that's not a.
Yeah.
Lot size having, and then the requirements on utility hookups, I don't know what you've asked for in the recreational sites before. It looks like you're telling them what they need to put in their recreational sites, which, quite frankly, they're the ones earning the money. They got to decide how much money they want to put into it. Really. I mean, people will call all the time. If you don't have a hookup for them, they don't want to stay. They don't want to run their generator. So, I mean, do we really want to go into telling them how to build their recreational? That's what I'm asking. Just tell me why.
Well, we're offering an RV hookup, a site with hookups or without hookups, and the square footage is smaller.
Yeah, I mean, they will do it based on where they can get the money. And I think if they put a hookup in, then you'd definitely be able to get more money.
But we're just specifying the lot size. We're just specifying, in this section, we're just specifying how big the lot size should be for an
You know-
RV with hookups and without hookups.
Well, the utility hookup, square feet, If you're telling me that you want a minimum of 10 feet between them and a depth of 40, if that's a safety issue, well, then you're legitimate. You're trying to keep it safe for whoever else is in that same area. But if you're telling them how many hookups they've got to put in well, then you're jumping in the middle of their business, and it really isn't
Yeah,
our job.
we're not telling them how many hookups they need to have.
Yeah.
We're just saying, if you do have hookups, you need to have a minimum 1,500 square feet.
Yeah.
And without hookups, 900 square feet.
Yeah, well, yeah, you say it has to be a minimum 1,500, but if it's more, I don't know, think about it. It's all I'm asking is that don't get into their business, don't get into make them define their own business. But yes, we do need to have some safety concerns. We need to be able to have people pull in and out and be able to have some visibility and not run over the kid that's in the next RV, so we got to be careful.
And that is our intent.
Don't mean to hold the whole. It's just, I looked through some of these and I thought we were being way too restrictive, and the permitting definitely, you don't want to go there.
Okay. And then the other item
You
that
had
we're,
the temporary, because you also had on the permits, you wanted to have it 6 for the temporary housing and the requirement to be able to have an RV used as a living quarter. You had to apply for it every 6 months. You need to understand that in Doña County, it takes a year to get a house built. So if you're going to do that, you better extend it beyond that 6 months, because it does take a year. We're not where we want to be yet on being able to provide permitting for both businesses and residents. And so now we hit them with that.
Mr. Chair, I just want to clarify that when you're building a home or for a construction project, we do allow you to have an RV on a temporary
I know,
basis
I read that
through
in
the
the-
duration.
This one, this is also saying it's allowed, but now you're going to have to get a temporary permit, and it's only good for 6 months, and then you've got to renew it. And what I'm saying is, you can't build a home in Doña County in under a year, so the 6 months is not going to work. And so you need to look at that, if this goes through.
Okay, thank you.
well, the way that it's currently written, it says that temporary permits are valid for 6 months and may be renewed for an additional 6 months if work is progressing on the site-built home.
I think Teresa's point, I don't want to put words in her mouth, is that you're creating work for yourself. Everybody's going to have to come in for an extension if it takes a year to build a house, and you're only giving them a permit for 6 months. Why not just say it's a year? And that they can extend it for another 3 months after that if it's not completed. I think
mean-
that's the point.
We talked about this, that's time when we had that winery, 4 years to put it in. So, I mean, so you have to not lock yourself in where you're going to be doing permits every month.
Okay, duly noted. And we'll see how many.
But I'm glad you started.
Yeah. And we'll see how many permits we have issued for living in an RV while you're building a home and how many extensions we've had. Because maybe we will need to change it to 1 year.
Chair, Commissioners, and I'll probably just verify with our building official, Sean Big. I don't think we've ever done a special use permit for RV. I think they're just,
No, it's just a temporary permit.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we actually do not require a separate permit when it's for construction. It's just allowed under their construction permit that they're issued.
Right.
So,
And then
I mean,
it stays there for the duration as needed.
I think, now that, that was brought up, we could probably make a modification to that section too. I still think that there should be maybe a time limit on them. We don't want to run into the case where somebody just pulls a building permit just so they can start living in an RV and not finish the house. That's
Don't finish
possible.
the house.
Yeah. that's a possible scenario too, as well. But we should probably consider, you know, taking off the language about a temporary use permit, you know, if you have a valid building permit, but still keep some kind of time period or time
As
limit.
long as building's still in progress or something, you know.
Yeah, as long as they're continuing, yeah.
You also made some comment to the 1,800 square feet somewhere in here, and that was one I had hoped to see. So did you make changes on the tables where we didn't have that limitation in zoning that we kept hitting, where we had 1 acre lots that couldn't have 1,800 square feet, remember?
I think that's one of the items on the list, so we'll get to
The
those
last
too.
page, table 5.9, accessory dwelling,
Oh, okay,
yeah, in the D2.
and that applies for all zoning? Or just the D2 zoning?
All of them, yes. This one was overlooked in our last amendment.
Okay, and then in other words, so D2, okay, I see what you said.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, that was what I wanted to see.
And then the other only item that I would like to discuss is accessory dwellings, the size limitation, which is in the middle of your page, section D2. We're clarifying that accessory dwellings, okay, the size limitations specified in the tables 5.4 through 5.17 are based on the heated livable space for the structure and do not include accessory structures such as a porch or garage. So we had a few cases in the past where the applicant wanted to build a 2,800 square foot home and they had to get a variance before you. So we're clarifying in here that the heated space is limited to 1,800 square feet, but that does not include the garages or porches.
And you needed to put in accessory dwelling structure, or why? You don't think that that other one covers you? Just having principal building, accessory building?
Well, this is specific to an accessory dwelling.
Why do you need to add the dwelling? I mean, how they use the building is not really our concern.
So, you know, on a lot of our residential zoning designations that do allow for accessory dwellings, casitas, it specifically limits them to 1,800 square feet. So we've had variances come before this commission with casitas that are exceeding that size limitation. So we're just trying to, you know, clarify that the 1,800 square feet, it's only applicable to the heated area. So it's just a point of clarification. We don't have anything in our code that calls out for that. You know, the way it's written, it could basically just be interpreted that overall for your entire casita, you're only limited to 1,800 square feet.
And I agree that number 6, you do need that. We've run into that many times here, so. No, that's not the question. It was in the D part where you added the accessory dwelling in the structure or building. I mean,
That's just in the title.
principal building, accessory building covers it all, in my opinion, but maybe you guys want more.
The definitions are different for each, though.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this has been at least a discussion in our department for a long time, why the code makes a distinction between an accessory structure that can be used for any purpose and an accessory dwelling. But it does in fact make a distinction. And so this is why we've come back a couple of times to try to increase the size of the accessory dwelling. In my opinion, they should be treated the same, but the code doesn't treat them the same way.
So this clarifies then,
That's correct.
another part of, okay.
Yes.
All I needed to know.
Janine, what is the cost of a temporary permit?
There is no cost associated with living in an RV while you're building a home. And there is no cost for a temporary use permit either.
There is cost for temporary permits.
Special use permits, but we don't charge for temporary use permits or temporary permits.
That, so I guess you call it a special use when you have a festival? Is that what you're saying?
That would be a temporary use
It's a
permit,
temporary use, so
Temporary
there is a fee for temporary use permits.
just special use permits.
There should be two types of temporary permits. Am I right?
Let's not make it any more complicated.
We're having a sidebar.
Yeah.
It's an interesting point. If staff has to spend all, excuse me, all this time looking at the, a drawing and all this additional information, I'm just talking about the commercial temporary use permit. There's no charge for that?
No, not at this point. But we are doing a fee analysis, and hopefully that will be included with
Okay.
that.
Seems that might be appropriate. I don't, residential, I think is okay.
Yeah, Chair, I think the only fees associated with that would probably just be a business registration, if it's gonna be for commercial purposes. But that's about the only type of fees that I can think of, just a business registration.
So, Albert, if I'm going to hold a festival on my property, and I already have a valid business permit for the business, do I need another one for the festival?
That should cover it.
You do?
I mean, yeah, I mean,
You may not use it from the county, but from the alcohol, you're going to need a special use permit. Okay. A special permit, okay. Oh, I see, okay, I understand.
What was it again?
If you have a wine.
Okay, anything else?
Not from staff. Does the commission have any additional recommendations besides what we discussed?
Why is this so restrictive?
Can you comment, when I'm hate to be a pest, can you comment your changes on the professional service, why we're
Okay.
doing this for me, please?
It's just another clarification. Barbers and cosmetologists are regulated by the New Mexico Registration and Licensing Department. So they're not called beauticians, hairdressers anymore. So we're changing that to barbers and cosmetologists. And they may be able to have a home occupation, providing they only have one station, and they follow the regulations of the Licensing Bureau. And specifically, what they require is a separate entrance, is one of the things that stands out. They require a separate entrance if you want to have a barber shop at your home.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on the UDC amendment?
No.
Moving on, administrative approvals?
Okay, so for administrative approvals for the month of August, we issued, let's see, what was it? 18 single-family residentials, which are depicted on the map. And there was also one commercial permit that we issued, and that was for that construction fencing yard up on West Picacho. And then what is not mapped is we issued 16 mobile home installation permits. 14 were on private land and 16 were in mobile home parks. Additionally, we had 56 electrical permits and 32 permits for plumbing. It's picking up a little bit. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yes,
Staff?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When are we all gonna take a trip in that brand-new VW wagon you have out there?
I don't know, whose wagon is that? Oh, the new attorney, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
So it's privately owned.
okay. Staff input.
Mr. Chair, I did want to mention that the county and the Community Development Department are working in conjunction with the City of Las Cruces to update the affordable housing plan. And you may have already received an email from Angela Roberson asking you to keep an eye out for an email from Root Policy, who is our consultant. And they will be seeking input on that plan update, and you should be receiving something in the near future from them, and they will coordinate with you on a time.
I got that email from
Okay,
Angela
great.
and Heidi, I think is the consultant. And when we got here this morning, I asked about it. There's also one about water resources that's up. And I did get both of those, and I am going to forward them to everyone on the commission just to be safe.
Thank you. I appreciate
Because
that.
there's a survey that's due today on the water thing.
Yeah, so that affordable housing plan has a pretty quick timeline.
Yeah,
I know Las Cruces needs their plan updated by the end of the year. Ours will probably not be presented until the spring, but because we're doing all the public meetings together and seeking all the input at the same time, it is kind of a fast timeline. So I appreciate your attention to that.
Yeah, I think the date for the input from Heidi was like October 14th and 15th, something like that, about a month from now. Okay, anything else? Commission input.
Mr. Chair, I've got a question for staff. So I've been doing some research on the county website for the parcel map areas, and I've been having a lot of problems trying to get the information. I've got some work that I need to complete, and I've called the assessor's office, and they referred me to community planning and zoning, and I never got a call back in regards to what's going on with the parcel map website. Do we have any updates on that by any chance? Or I know the old version was working great, and now I guess they upgraded it and it went back to 0. So I don't know if anybody knows anything about that.
Mr. Chair and Commissioner Uranga, which specific map are you looking at? Is it the one that's provided by the assessor or the maps provided by community development?
I mean, there used to be a link where it was the parcel, Doña County parcel map. Now that went away, and now there's the website where it gives you both options, for one for zoning and one for just, I guess, the mapping. And that's the one that I've been having a lot of problems with, and I've talked to other realtors in the area, and they can't access this also.
You can't access it at all?
No,
Is that the
I
issue?
mean, it pops up, but when you press a search button, nothing comes up.
Okay. I'm going to send you an email, and I'm going to copy Becky Martin, who's our GIS administrator. And then you can reach out to her directly, or she can follow up with you to find out exactly what the issues are, so she can fix them.
Christina?
Appreciate that.
The community development parcel map doesn't have the same information as the assessor's map. So if you go directly to the assessor's webpage, there's an option to go into the map, the assessor's map. That's where the information is. I just did this yesterday. I didn't have any trouble with it.
Okay. I'll ask her to look into it. But you're right, we do have a new platform, and she has been working to put all the information there. However, there's some options that we used to have that are no longer available, but she's been trying to find workarounds whenever she finds out that it's an issue. So if there is information that's there, or that used to be there that you need, then if you reach out to her directly, she can figure out a way to provide it so that you're getting the information you need.
Thank you. My question was there problems with the previous system, how it was working, or why did they do away with that?
It's a problem with the company. Esri decided to phase out the desktop version, which is what we used to use, and they've migrated to strictly Arc Pro, which is a web-based application. And so we no longer have the control that we used to have, and everything goes through their platform exclusively. And so Becky has really been trying hard to find ways to work around what's available and add information as she hears from people. And so it has been kind of a difficult transition even for staff, but we do have some really good people working on it. And I know if I put you in touch with her, she'll be able to help.
Thank you so much.
Anything else? Look for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Commissioner Zerniak. We're out of here. Thank you very much, people.